Hello everyone, welcome to SHELO Mystics. Today we are looking at love energies for Libra for the month of July 2026. Whether you're single, in relationship, separated, or dealing with situationship, take what resonates and leave what does not. Tarot reflects the current energies and potential outcomes, but your free will and choices always matters. Let's see what Spirit has in store for Libra in love for this month. Central issue is Five of Swords. Obstacle or challenge is Three of Wands. Hidden influence is Lovers. What lies behind your past is Hanged Man. And the known influence is Three of Cups. Your future is your energy is Five of Cups. The environment, your environment is Ten of Pentacles. Hopes and fears is the world. Their action towards you is Seven of Wands. The outcome is Page of Pentacles. Let me pull up clarifiers. Libra, the central issue of your love life for the month is Five of Swords. Right now, this connection feels like it has reached a point where there are hurdles, misunderstanding, constant friction. For some of you, it may feel like every conversation turns into an argument. For others, it may not even be communication, but the tension is still there. Now, what is making the situation even more difficult is Eight of Swords. The spirit has been showing that many of you feel trapped. You know your boundaries, you know what you deserve, yet you keep going back and forth. Should you communicate? Should you wait? Should you let this go? You're overthinking every possible outcome, and that's what keeping you stuck here. The Queen of Wands, the spirit is redirecting your attention. Instead of remaining trapped in your thoughts, the Queen of Wands asking you to remember your confidence and your self worth. Do not let the situation make you question your value. Stand firm in your own energy. Sometimes the answer don't come by chasing the other person. It comes by reconnecting with yourself. The obstacle is Three of Wands. So both of you may be waiting for something to happen, waiting for communication, waiting for the other person to make a move, or waiting for circumstances to improve here. The Eight of Wands tells me the communication or movement is certainly possible. Things don't remain stagnant forever. However, what immediately follows is the Five of Wands. And that's exactly where the obstacle lies. Even if communication happens, it could easily turn into a disagreement, misunderstanding, or defensiveness instead of listening to each other. So both people may end up trying to prove who is right. The spirit is asking you to communicate with intention and understand one another, not with the intent of winning an argument. Otherwise, the same cycle repeats itself. And in the hidden position, we have Lovers. So the Lovers here tells me that there's a significant emotional connection that still exists. But the spirit is also saying that this month is where an important choice has to be made. The Five of Cups shows that why this choice has become so difficult. For many of you are focusing on what did not work, the disappointment, the hurt, and the expectation that were never fulfilled. It's almost as though the past is still influencing the present. The Nine of Wands, which shows the result of carrying those disappointments for so long. You have become emotionally guarded. You are trying to protect yourself because you don't want to go through the same pain again. The spirit message here is very clear. Don't remain stuck in the past. Learn from it, but don't allow it to stop from moving forward. So, whether that means rebuilding this connection or choosing a healthier path for yourself, the decision has to come from self respect rather than fear. So, what lies behind you is the Hanged Man. Now, let's look at what brought you here. The cards representing your past is telling me that this connection has experienced a lot of stagnation. Things may not have moved the way you expected them to. For some of you, there were repeated delay, postponed plans, or a relationship that simply stopped progressing. It almost feels like one or both of you are waiting for the other person to make a move while nothing is actually changing. So why is this pause though? The Emperor here give us the first clue. Someone wanted to remain in control. This could be you or your partner. So who was very practical, emotional, reserved, and believed that everything had to happen according to their own timeline. There is a strong sense of structure here. But sometimes too much structure leaves very little room for emotional vulnerability. The King of Pentacles here tells me that many of you, this wasn't a relationship lacking potential. In fact, at one point, it may have looked very promising. You may have been genuinely believed that this was someone you could build a future with. There was maturity, long term planning, or at least that appearance of it. However, when I look at the combination here, so these cards together, Spirit is showing me that stability without emotional movement eventually become a stagnation. A relationship cannot survive on responsibilities alone. It needs communication, emotional expression, and mutual effort. So, another message I'm picking up is that some of you may have prioritized work, finance, and family responsibilities or maintaining control over expressing your emotions. So, convincing yourself that it's the practical thing, but emotionally it creates distance. So, in the past, isn't showing a betrayal as much as it shows the relationship as slowly became stuck because neither side truly addressed what was happening underneath the surface. And the known influence is Three of Cups. So, deep down, there's a desire for happiness, reconciliation, or at least a place where both of you can communicate peacefully again. So, some of you simply want closure, others genuinely want this relationship to work. But here, what the clarifier becomes interesting here with the Six of Wands. Somebody is seeking validation. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Everyone wants to feel appreciated, acknowledged. But in this situation, it feels like someone wants the other person to admit they were wrong before taking the first step. So we already saw the Five of Swords in the central issue here. Spirit is again emphasizing the importance of Five of Swords here. It reminds you that if a relationship continues to become a battle of who wins, who loses, then nobody truly walks away happy. This repeated card tells me that ego, pride, or constantly revisiting previous argument is one of the biggest block preventing this relationship from moving forward. For some of you, there may have been an outside influence, friends, family members, or any other people may be giving opinions that they're creating more confusions now. The spirit asking you to become clear about whose voice you're listening to. Are you making decisions based on your own heart, or are you allowing everyone else's opinion shape your relationship? Because ultimately, this is your journey, not theirs. And in near future, we do see Hermit. The Hermit is asking you to step back before making an important decision. Instead of reacting from hurt, disappointment, or frustration, Spirit is guiding you to reflect. Ask yourself what you truly want. Ask whether this relationship is meeting your needs. Ask yourself whether both people are equally willing to put in the effort. This period of reflection becomes very important because it leads directly into Ace of Wands. This talks about the fresh spark. For some of you, this could be renewed communication. For others, it is simply be renewed confidence after taking time to heal. And for those who are completely single, it can absolutely represent a brand new romantic opportunity entering your life. Then we have Eight of Pentacles. Whatever begins requires consistent effort. Nothing is built overnight here. So interestingly, the Eight of Pentacle energy also mirrors the energy of your past because of the Emperor. In the past, there was structure without much of an emotional movement. So now the spirit is saying if there is going to be new beginning, it cannot survive on attraction alone. It must be supported by daily communication, effort, consistency, and mutual commitment. So this is also why the hermit appears in the first place. The spirit does not want you to rush into a decision. Take your time, observe actions. People can promise you stars and moon and everything, but what do they do? Do they at least come closer to anything they say? That is a lot more crucial. Allow people to show you through consistency who they are. Because the future isn't asking you to repeat anything from the past, it's inviting you to build something healthier, wiser, and much more stable than before. So your energy we see here is the five of cups. This tells me that many of you are still carrying the disappointment. You're still thinking about what did not work, what could have been done differently, or things reached this point, how things reached this point. So there is an emotional attachment to the past here, because in the past position also we do see the five of cups. So there is emotional attachment that we see here. For some of you, you're grieving the relationship even though it may not have completely ended. And the lover here, earlier the five of cups showed us the disappointment was influencing their relationship itself. Here it shows the disappointment now that is becoming very personal. The earlier the five of cups here showed there is a disappointment that was influencing that relationship itself. Here it is showing that disappointment has now become very personal. You're carrying it in within yourself. Some of you may be blaming yourself. Some of you may be wondering whether you have been spoken differently, acted differently, waited longer, or left sooner. Spirit is asking you not to carry unnecessary guilt. So every relationship teaches you something, not because the outcome is completely within your control. Now the page of wands is telling us that despite everything that you have been through, a part of you still wants to move forward. There's still curiosity about what comes next. Some of you are waiting for the communication, others have begun to feel excited about new possibilities, even if you're not fully ready to admit it yet. Or at least that is not something that in the back of your mind as of now, but something that makes you curious also. If this is not working out, what is there for me? That would be that underlying thought. So it reminds you that the story is not simply over because of the one chapter has been difficult. And the Four of Pentacles here. The Four of Pentacles here tells me that you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your heart, you're protecting your emotions. And some of you, you're even protecting this relationship because you're afraid that one wrong move could make everything fall apart here. Spirit is asking you to find the balance. Okay. Protect your peace is very healthy, and closing yourself off completely is not something that is suggested. So don't let your fear stop you from receiving the love that you are asking the universe to send you. And your position, we do see the Ten of Pentacles. It's very reassuring. Despite everything that we have seen so far, the misunderstanding, disappointment, delays, the spirit is showing that the energy of the long term stability. This tells me that the foundation for something meaningful, it still exists. So this tells me the foundation for something meaningful still exists. For some of you, this relationship may have involved conversations about building future together, commitment, marriage, living together, or creating stability together as a partners. Even if those plans have been delayed, the potential itself has not completely disappeared. The Queen of Cups, there's a genuine emotions that are present, deeply care and compassion, and still thinking about this connection with love rather than hatred. So even if those emotions are not being openly expressed right now, they haven't been completely disappeared. Because the Two of Pentacles, this explains why the environment feels unstable despite the presence of Ten of Pentacles here. So it's about juggling the responsibilities, work, finance, family expectation, distance, personal responsibility, or simply trying to balance emotions with practical life. For some of you, this can even indicate that your relationship has been kept private because there were already enough responsibilities to deal with. For others, it simply shows that in this life itself has become very overwhelming. The spirit is saying, don't mistake someone's busy life for a complete lack of feelings. At the same time, the responsibilities cannot become a permanent excuse. Eventually, the balance has to be restored if the relationship is going to move forward. The environment, therefore, isn't showing an emotional emptiness, it shows emotional investment struggling against practical reality. The hopes and fears are the world. It's a beautiful card because it represents completion, closure, entering a brand new chapter here. So many Libras simply wants peace. Whether the peace comes through reconciliation or through finally moving forward, you're ready for emotional cycle to end. So you don't want to keep repeating the same conversation, the same disappointments, and the same uncertainty. But the spirit is showing that why that has been difficult. So for some of you have experienced dishonesty. Others may have felt that someone hasn't been completely transparent. For some, it could be even representing a total being blocked and not having much attention towards you. So also it's about someone saying something and not doing it, or doing something different. So your nine of swords here. This is the emotional result of carrying that doubt for too long. Overthinking, replaying conversations, wondering what someone truly meant. So just trying to dissect each and everything that has happened up until now, trying to find answers where none are being given. So notice how this connects beautifully with the Eight of Swords, your central issue. The spirit shows that you feel mentally trapped. Now we understand why this uncertainty, which has been slowly developing into anxiety, the spirit is asking you to stop allowing your fears to write the end of your story. Not every thought is true, not every fear is going to become reality. Now the world reminds you that this cycle is reaching completion, but before a healthier chapter can begin, you must be willing to live behind the fears, the belonging of to the previous one. Carry the lessons forward. Do not carry the anxiety with you. So, what is their action towards you, if any? So, at first glance, this kind of makes you feel that they appear to be defensive. They're trying to protect themselves, standing their ground, even resisting communication. For some of you, it feels though the person has built emotional bonds around themselves. They don't want to talk. They want to prove that they were being right. So, as usual, it's indicating this core energy of five of swords here. So others may feel every conversation requires so much effort because immediately it becomes defensive. They are ready to fight, to push you back. However, let's look deeper before jumping into conclusion here. The Ten of Cups. This changes the emotional tone. Despite the defensiveness showed by the Seven of Wands, the spirit is revealing that this person still recognizes the emotional potential of this connection. So they can still imagine happiness, fulfillment, or building a future together. That does not necessarily mean they are expressing those feelings openly. It simply means that these feelings exist beneath the surface. And the Four of Cups. It shows that someone who isn't fully satisfied with the current situation, but also isn't immediately taking the opportunity being presented. So they may spend a lot of time thinking, questioning, wondering whether they should reach out, or will you respond. So is this the timing right? So although there are emotions here, there are also uncertainty. This person may appear distant one day and thoughtful the next. So they want a relationship but still struggling to how to approach it. Also, all these cards together, the spirit is showing someone who wants, someone who has not emotionally walked away. Instead, they're trying to protect themselves. So, all the three cards combined together, spirit is showing someone who has not emotionally walked away. Instead, they're trying to protect themselves while still recognizing the value for the connection. And the challenge is that emotional defensiveness can easily create mixed signals. So, this is why the reading has repeatedly spoken about misunderstanding, delays, pride, and emotional wall being built. The spirit is asking you not to judge this connection slowly by the outward reaction, but observe consistent action over time. I love people to demonstrate their intentions through effort rather than assumption. That will give you more clarity than reacting to a one single conversation. Coming to your last position, what is the outcome? I actually like this outcome because the Page of Pentacle does not promise unrealistic fairy tale ending, nor does it suggest that everything is over. Instead, it speaks about the fresh opportunity, something that has the potential to grow if both are willing to nurture it. That's a very practical energy. It's about taking small but meaningful steps rather than making a big promises. For some of you, this could represent a conversation that finally begins to move in the right direction. For others, it could simply be the beginning of rebuilding trust one step at a time. The Nine of Pentacles here, the Spirit says that before this connection can become healthy, both individuals must become emotional and personally secure within themselves. This isn't about depending on another person to make you happy, it's about becoming whole on your own. The Nine of Pentacles reminds you to continue building your own life, your confidence, career, peace of mind, and your emotional stability. When you stop chasing and start investing yourself, you naturally become more attractive, not only to this person but also to the healthier relationship in general. So, when we have the Hanged Man, notice that this card also already appeared in your past position. So, whenever a card appears itself, the spirit is asking us to revisit the lesson. The hangman represents the stagnation that brought this relationship to where it is today. It is saying not to repeat those patterns. Don't remain stuck waiting indefinitely for someone to make every decision. Don't put your own life on hold, hoping that circumstances will eventually change by themselves. So instead, use this as pause, differently gain clarity, see this situation from a complete different perspective. The difference is that the first hangman that we saw reflected what happened to the relationship. Now, this talks about your choice. Now, you have the wisdom to decide whether you're waiting from a place of love or waiting from the place of fear. The spirit is encouraging movement, personal growth, and healthy boundaries rather than emotional stagnation. So, overall, this outcome tells me that July plants the seed for something new, but that seed grows better when both of you are willing to mature individually instead of repeating the old cycles. Now, let me fetch you the spirit guidance. And the spirit guidance chase rainbows and make miracles. The chasing rainbow here, the spirit reminds you not to give up on your dreams just because you're experienced disappointment. Whether this is a loving relationship, healing, or a future or a fresh beginning, this isn't just wishful thinking. It can become your reality, but you have to take step forward towards it. But don't let the fear from the past failures or self-doubt make you settle for less than what you deserve. Continue believing in yourself and keep moving forward with confidence. The second card is make miracles. This is asking you to trust the universe. Not everything has to happen according to your timeline. Sometimes delays are preparing you for something even better. Continue taking inspired actions. Believe that you are worthy of love, happiness, and have faith that what is truly meant for you will always find its way. Together, these two cards carries one simple message. Do not lose hope because of temporary setbacks here. Continue building the life you are dreaming of. Trust the divine timing of your journey. And remember that what is truly meant for you will never pass you by. Thank you so much, Libra, for spending your time with me today. If this reading resonated with you, don't forget to share, like this video with someone who may need this message, and subscribe to SHELO Mystics for more monthly tarot readings, spiritual guidance, and intuitive messages. If you'd like a personal reading tailored to your unique situation, you can also reach out to me on the email mentioned in the description below. Thank you for being here again. Take care of yourself. Stay blessed. I'll see you in the next reading. Until then, keep believing in yourself, trust the journey, and let the universe guide you into your divine timing. Thank you.